Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Global Flow series. I am ridiculously honored today to introduce you guys to Linda Howe. And yeah, I'm so excited for this conversation. I became an Akashic Records practitioner, learning from somebody who has trained with Linda in August, and it's totally shifted everything in my life and changed my perspective. And I'm very, very honored to have this conversation because a lot of people don't know what it is, and I think it's important for everybody to know that this information is available and what it is. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for everything.
You're lovely. I want to give you your official bio because people need to know who you are and why the heck they need to listen to this, because it could be a life-changing conversation for them, because it certainly shifted and changed my entire perspective on everything. So I'll get the official bit out of the way. Dr. Linda Howe likes to call the Akashic Records the Chronicles of You. This energetic archive of souls contains the stories of every human being throughout time. By sharing her pathway prayer process with the world, Linda became the first person to make conscious access to the records available to all. As a leading expert in using the records for transformation and empowerment, her joy is teaching others to tap into the eternal wisdom of their soul for practical application every day. Recently, she began teaching classes in China, the adventure of a lifetime. That's amazing. Linda has a number of incredible books, How to Read the Akashic Records, Discovering Your Soul's Path Through the Akashic Records, and also Healing Through the Akashic Records. And all have won Coalition of Visionary Resources Awards. They are incredible. I have them all. They are wonderful. We'll give you, so if you need to know exactly, she's Linda Howe with an E.com, and we'll have all of the information and everything hooked up below, and we'll make sure you know how to find this lady because she is fabulous. So that's the overview. Can you give us a little bit more background, a bit of more information on who you are and how you got into this wonderful world?
Well, I'll give it a shot. How's that? Here's the thing. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. This isn't something that I ever planned for. I don't think anyone ever does, right? But really, the short story, the short version is that, I live in Chicago. I was raised in a very traditional American religion. I had a very ordinary upbringing. And I was raised to believe that if I did everything correctly, that everything would fall into place and I would be just blissfully happy and satisfied. And so I followed those ideas. And I woke up at the age of 24 and I found that I had a fabulous job that I hated. It was a job everyone wanted it but me, right? Like that. I mean, I had the whole thing. I had the apartment, I had the whole thing. And I woke up and I was like, something is terribly wrong, because on the outside it looked terrific and on the inside I was grief stricken. So and I know this is this happens, obviously it happens, right? So I made a prayer, and my prayer was, God, if you are even there, I really need some help. Okay. And within a short period of time, probably, 4 to 6 weeks, I had what was, for me, this riveting, life-changing moment of spiritual awareness. Now, I know that so many of our friends and people that we know are also having moments like this, because this is the age of awakening spiritual awareness. So I'm not the only one. It really grabbed me. And in this moment, a few things became evident, like startling. And here was the first thing. I had this sense of being completely known and loved by life, almost as if life could see into me and just loved me.
Oh.
I know, it was amazing because, see, nothing in my life had prepared me for that. I don't
Right.
come from that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And the other thing, and this really blew my mind, was I had this sense that who I am is an inextricable element of the whole of creation, as is everyone else.
Wow.
All right. Needless to say, I was upside down. In a good way, but still, what do you do with this, right? So I was 24 years old and the search was on. And I spent from 24 to 40, oh my God, looking. And I did everything. I had so much fun. I did every class and workshop. I did it all. And I loved it. And because one thing led to another, led to another. I mean, this is how it goes. The thing that was most interesting, though, is I knew in my heart of hearts that I was seeking a way to make a connection with that experience I had had at 24 that just seemed so random, do you know? So I thought there's got to be a way to live in this, right? And so at the age of 40, I found myself on a panel talking about spirituality, and there was a woman talking about the Akashic Record. I was like, first of all, I heard the word, and it stole my heart. First of all, it went into me in a way I could hardly explain, because you see, I'm from the Midwest. We don't use words like Akashic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is. It's really America.
Yeah.
It's really America. So I'm like, what is this word? And this woman she seemed very exotic to me. Anyway, so I went to this class, and it was very esoteric, which was fine. But I sat in the class, I followed the instructions, and upon opening my records, I had a moment that was the closest. Okay, was it exactly the same? A little bit different, but the closest to the experience I had at 24.
Wow.
I was flabbergasted. I stopped everything I was doing. And I started, that was in 1994.
Yeah.
And I started working in the records, and it is now 2017, and I haven't stopped.
Wow.
Okay? And the thing is, I have to tell you, though, this is so funny.
When
I first came into the records, here's what the idea was, it came to me, right? That here's the idea. This is an infinite spiritual resource.
Ooh.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I thought, I know what that is.
Right. We're so funny.
I mean, here I am, how many years later, and I just feel like I'm just getting to know this thing, right?
Right.
I mean, I had no idea what infinite spiritual resource meant. I mean, it's just so funny, but that's all right. So I went along, and then in 2001, I was given, through my own work, right, I was given the Pathway Prayer process, which I work with today, and that's what I teach. I've been teaching that since 2001. It gives secular people like you and I a way to consciously, responsibly, and deliberately connect with the Akasha for personal transformation, right? This is for use in transformation. So that was, my first book came out in 2009. That was How to Read the Records. This is also, I think, hysterically funny. See, because the book is all like, I thought, I've got the method, right? It's all mapped out. I've got the method. I'm done. That's what I think I'm done. I'm going to sit on the bench and, I don't know, drink herb tea and stare at sunsets or something. Anyway, lo and behold, I find out I am so far from done. It's embarrassing. And the next piece of the work, right, is healing, right? Because I had a lot of personal healing to do. I was like, how do you make sense of this, right? How do I live in the world? You know, my feelings are always getting hurt. I take offense so easily. I mean, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, so the next piece of the puzzle was the healing work, healing through the records, right? And then after that, well, you know what I thought then? I thought, well, now
yeah, right.
The personal healing was done. So anyway, of course I wasn't, and there I was trying to find my way into the world, facing the big question, right? How do I maintain my spiritual awareness while I'm living in the world. Because see, the purpose of spiritual awareness at this point in time, right, is not to take us away from life. It's not an escape. What it is, our spirituality must empower us to go into life and to participate, even though, even though we're imperfect, right? But the idea is not to get perfect. The idea is to become useful. And I have learned that the universe is very happy to use me, even though I have not yet achieved perfection.
That is so good. So good to know. So good to know.
No, it's relief. I was so relieved when I thought, thank goodness, because I have been. If I release one more limiting pattern, there's not going to be anything left. And but the thing, I just thought I cannot do this. And how come? Then it was revealed to me, like, wait a second here. You take a deep breath. The universe doesn't expect you to be perfect. The universe expects you to participate.
Right.
Very different perspective.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm working on my fourth book, which is manifesting, bringing your soul's purposes to life through the Akashic Records. I'm working on that right.
Ooh, I'm excited for that one. That'll be amazing.
Oh, so am I. Oh, and I'm very excited. I'm really excited.
That's cool.
So that's the story, So here we are, and it's how perfect that we found each other, so we can have this conversation.
I love everything you just said, and one of the key things I was like, because it's so easy to be like spiritual in a workshop or in your yoga class or when you're meditating. But then people walk out of there and they're shouting and screaming and having these crap relationships, and like to be able to like bring it through into your life and have a tool to actually use, right?
This is right. See, this is the acid test, right? This is the real test. See, the yoga class is one thing. It's the parking lot of the yoga studio.
Yeah, right.
This is where we get to find out who the saints are then. But it's true. Right? Because, anyway, we've all been in that parking lot, right?
I know, right? I'm like, I will manifest a parking space. Well, now I'm going to use the records to manifest a parking space at yoga, so we're good.
I say walk. Walk to yoga. Leave the car and ride your bike.
Right. Even better.
Even better. Right, we're on the resentment reduction program here.
Right? Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So there is so many people that are like, okay, that all sounds super cool, but what the heck are the Akashic Records? So
how about it?
Let's go there.
I know. Let's start at the beginning, right? So here's what this is. Okay, so Akasha, like I said earlier, it's a Sanskrit word. Okay, and what it means is primary substance, that from which all things are formed. Okay, so that's what it is. So we're talking about the raw material, right? Life substance. That's what the record is. That's what it's made of.
Yeah.
Okay, now, the Akashic Record is a vibrational archive of every soul and its journey. So what that means, it's vibrational. We don't see it. This is non-physical. This is the invisible energetic correspondent to the human, to planetary life, to human life. Okay? And it travels along with us. Now, what's very interesting is that every set of records has two components.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the first is, it's like the DNA of your soul. Okay. It's the blueprint of the soul. And this is at the point of inception. At the inception of the soul, there is an identity of your soul essence. Okay. Now, some people think of this as your divine potential. I actually think that's a great way to understand it. It's like here's your divine potential. Now, it's important to recognize there is no blueprint. Like when we work in the records, it's not like someone comes in and says, here's your blueprint. There is no blueprint to see. That's just a way we describe it.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so this is your potential as a soul. And as you make your human journey through time, the object of the game is for you to realize who you are,
Mm.
right? And to live that while here on earth. It's
Right.
very easy to be our highest selves when we don't have bodies,
Mm.
right? In-laws, mortgages.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
But here we are. So the challenge is, how do we do this? And this takes many lifetimes. And so what
Mm.
happens, we have the essence of who we are,
Yeah.
and what travels along with it is
Mm.
the catalog of the lifetimes you live through which you awaken to your magnificence, your divine potential, and actually live that while you're here on earth.
Wow.
That's what the record is. Now, the way we also understand it is that it is, we've all heard about universal mind, right?
Yeah.
And universal heart. This is all okay. The record is the convergence zone of the universal heart, the universal mind, and the universal will. So
Ooh.
these, okay, it's that convergence zone.
Mm. I I love that.
Okay, so it's not just, sometimes people say, oh, that's the universal mind. Well, yes, it is, and it's more. Do
Mm.
you see what I'm saying? It's because we are comprehensive beings,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the record is naturally comprehensive as well. But the other idea that was brought to my attention some years back that has been very, very helpful is like if we understand that the record resides at the level of the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it is the soul level dimension of consciousness. That's where it is. Now, in the physicality, I like to think, and others have said this, I mean, I don't think it's original, that the soul is at the floor of the heart center.
Ooh, okay.
Okay,
I'm taking notes. Yeah.
okay, that's all right. But here's the thing. So if we
Yeah.
want to understand, this is where the record lives within us,
Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
understand this. Okay, so here's how this goes. But the record, so the soul is here,
Mm-hmm.
and the record is the energetic connective tissue between the soul and the source. See, we're always connected
Mm.
to the source, but we're not always aware of it. And so
Ooh.
the record holds us steady as we awaken to this eternal truth.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Okay? So, and the other thing is, how everyone says, I mean, people say this to me, I don't know if they say it to you, but they always say things to me like, well, the truth is within. Well, that's actually true.
Yeah.
The question is, how do we get to it?
Right.
That's been my question. All
Right.
right, it's in there. I know it's in
I
there.
believe
How
you.
am I going to get it?
Right.
So, but in the opening of my own record, I
Mm.
am consciously, responsibly, and deliberately opening up to
Mm.
positioning myself in a space of awareness to detect and discern the truth that's always been there,
Mm.
the truth of the soul. So so it's like the light comes in through the crown, and it bounces off the reflective surface. That is the soul. The soul is the reflective, right,
Mm.
agent for the divine.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, I hope that wasn't. Does this make sense to you?
It makes sense to me, but I have studied and read all your books and I'm an Akashic practitioner, right? So it makes perfect sense to me. And even then I'm like, oh, that was such a beautiful way that you explained it. Just for some people who might be like,
Yes,
what the
yes,
heck did you just say? But
okay.
there's one thing that really helped me understand it, and it was the concept that one soul has gone through many lifetimes. And do you feel like you have to accept that we've had past lives to accept or understand the records? Is that part of this?
That's a very good question. I don't know. See, this is not like about past lives.
Mm.
Because, see, the way to be in conscious connection with our records is in the present.
Right.
Okay? So it's not like we go to past lives. You don't have to necessarily believe in past lives.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's something to believe in or not. I just don't know. But what is required is the recognition that the soul is infinite, eternal, and immortal.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, and is in a process of, I want to say, evolution, right? Emerging, right? Awareness through time, becoming aware of its nature.
Yeah.
While here on Earth. So I think it's a little bit different. You don't have to get don't worry about past lives. You don't have to get too hung up on past lives.
So cool. I'm down for them. I'm down for them. But like, I just...
No. I understand this though, because sometimes, and actually I'm really, catch me on any day, I'll tell you, but the idea, like sometimes we get so caught on this, the Akashic Record is all about past lives. No, it's about who you are now. Now, here's the piece. If I am facing a situation in my life that's particularly, challenging, and I go into my records and I want to know, what's the origin of this difficulty? It may seem to be a past life. It may have started in this life. It may have started 1,000 years ago. It really doesn't matter. Right? So anyway, I want to put that out there.
I love it. Yeah.
I also personally, I love the idea that we have more than one opportunity. It takes so much pressure off.
Yes. I actually, since I discovered your work in the Akashic Records, I actually no longer fear death. And that for me has been,
great.
It's been like a long-term thing, like an underlying thing for me since I was a kid. Like I always had this fear, and I'm now not that it would be great or anything. I'm not ready for that. And I don't want it for my family or, but there's this, a sense that it doesn't, and it was about the finality of everything, I think was my main issue. I was like, it's so fine, death was so final. And now it's shifted my thought pattern on it, because I don't believe it's completely final anymore. So it gives me that sort of hope, I guess.
Oh, good. Well,
so it's very comforting. Yeah.
No. I understand this though, because I mean, one of the things that's very clear when working within the record is that, and this is a huge conundrum for us as human beings. Like on one hand, okay, great. On one hand, you're infinite, eternal, immortal, unlimited. That is absolutely true at the level of the soul. It is also true at the same time that you are finite, temporal, a mere mortal. Okay. Now the challenge becomes, how do we, we're in an age of going beyond dualities, either or, good, bad, right, wrong. How can this all be true at the same time? And how do I live my life then?
Yes.
See, these are the real challenges we're facing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. There's so much. And a couple other questions that I just want everybody else to know how amazing this is. But you can read your own records. What other types of records can you read? And is it like, obviously you do readings but who all can access the records, and how does that work?
Okay. So here's the idea. It's the first time in history where secular people have the opportunity to have a more conscious connection with their own soul through the Akashic Record. Now, so the record is not new. What is new is the opportunity to connect. Okay. So that's what we have. The way anyone with a desire, not everybody wants to read their records.
Right.
I know it's hard to believe.
I know.
I find that hard to believe, but it's true. Not everybody wants to do this. Anyone who wants to can.
Right.
Right?
That's
Your
cool.
desire is the is the clue that you have the ability.
Right.
Okay, now, what I know is many people come to the records with a lot of natural talent. But see, where we're deficient is in skill. And that's my work, is to teach people how to do this. Now, listen, I have no illusions. I know that 100 years from now, no one's going to do it this way, because it'll just be, we'll all know how to do it. But because we are the first generation, I mean, I don't know about your parents, but my parents did not say, and now, dear, let me teach you how to connect with your record. This is like, well,
that did not happen. Trust me, that did not happen. Yeah.
All right. So we have to, and that's where the training comes in. Okay, now. So the prerequisite is the desire.
I love that.
And what we want to know is that when we work in the record, we're dealing with this planet. Now, I know some people say they're opening the records of other planets. I think that's delusional, actually.
Fair enough.
It's delusional. The record is connected to the Earth.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And other galaxies and other starseed groups. They're all fine. I mean, I think they're a lot of fun and everything, but that's not what this is. This is about the soul's journey here on Earth. So you can open your own records.
Yeah.
You can work in your own records for guidance, for insight. And you don't have to be psychic. This is nothing to do with being psychic. Heavens, there are a lot of people who are very psychic who are spiritually, asleep. So, I mean, where we got the idea that being psychic was spiritual, I don't know. It's just very confusing. But it's not. So don't worry. If you're not psychic, see, everyone has a soul. We all are part of the one soul, right? And so everyone has this.
Yeah.
And so it's there. It's there to be had, is really what I would say. Okay.
Yeah.
So the way I teach people is we use the pathway prayer process.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're awake for it. And it's very simple. And if you remember when I said it's this energetic connective tissue from the soul to the source, it's like stepping into a spiritual sanctuary.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And in the space of infinite kindness and respect, the truths that have been embedded in your soul and you've been carrying with you for lifetimes come to your awareness. Okay?
Yeah. I love it. And when I've been doing them, I did a lot of readings, in that first month. I was like, I'm just going to go nuts. I did like 60, and I really it was so popular. Everyone is like, this is amazing. And for me, it was amazing because it gave me that knowingness, because it made me more confident, and I trusted it, and it started coming through a lot more. Just, I'd open my mouth and you don't know what you're going to say. But one of the, right, I'm like, and they'd ask me the craziest questions. I would like, oh, okay, I'll see. But one of the beautiful things that I think happened was when I said it, everyone kind of went, oh, it was just so confirming for people. I feel like I got this real sense that not enough people trusted themselves or their intuition. And then when I would tell them whatever I was getting through the Akashic Records, it was just this real comforting confirmingness, like they already knew. It's...
Well, okay,
Tell me a little bit.
Brilliant. It's brilliant. It's brilliant because, like, if I'm reading your records, it's as if you and I are together in this beam of light. Okay?
Yeah.
And at the moment, I have greater, I can see more than you can see because you're in it, whatever it is, right? It can be anything, right? Relationship issues, health issues. I mean, there are a million issues to have, right? So, right. So we've got our issues, and we get tangled up. This is what happens, and it's an interdependent universe, right? The world is interdependent, and so sometimes if you can't see, you ask me for help, and I can see, right? In that, with your permission. So the two of us sit together, and what happens is, as the truth is told, the soul responds to the truth. We all, as human beings, we respond when the truth is told in and through love. Okay? This is not about clobbering people.
Yeah.
This is not about shocking them with your psychic abilities. It's about, right? It's about sharing the truth. Sharing a loving truth, which sometimes can be a little bit scarier than getting clobbered.
Right.
Depending on what's going on. But anyway, so that's what. Now, there are some people who work with animals, right? You can read the records of animals. It's not the same as reading people, but some people, I'm terrible with animals.
Yeah.
I like animals. I have a house full of pets, but if your dog needs a reading, don't ask me. I'm better with people.
Yeah.
And there are some people who read plants, and some people who read places, and some people who read crystals. Yeah, go ahead, you can do all of that. But to understand, really, the purpose of the record is to dignify human beings.
I love
this. Has to do with one human being recognizing the fullness of light in another human being.
Yeah.
The fullness of light as it is expressed through their humanity. Yeah. So, like, if I'm reading you, I am not going to look for a beam of light. And if I see one, I'm going to get really scared.
Especially if it's coming out your ass. No, I'm kidding.
No, we don't want that. But the way the light is expressed through human beings is through what we call positive, loving human qualities.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what we're looking for. And so it's, anyway, right? And that's a whole different story, which is
Love
good.
all that. Love all that. And, I often say to people, I'm like, you're only going to hear what you're ready for. And sometimes I was like, it might be uncomfortable. And they're like, okay. And if they can't maybe accept it in that moment when they hear it, I've maybe had an email a couple of days later being like, thank you so much. I needed to hear that, right? In the moment, they're like, are you kidding me? And then, maybe a couple of days later, they're like, oh, I get it, right? So it's a very safe, loving, beautiful place, and it's nothing to be scared of, for sure.
Right, because the idea is, here's what's really amazing about the Akashic field.
Yes.
The primary assumption of the Akasha is that everyone is good.
Yeah.
Okay, that at the core, everyone is love. Everyone. There are no exceptions to that. And the corollary is everyone is always doing their best.
Right.
Everyone is always in a very concerted effort to experience more love and peace for themselves.
Yeah.
So even when people are doing ridiculous things, as they will do, right? Even when we do, like, some things, we go, what did I just do?
Yep.
Right? We all do it, right?
Yep.
Every choice we make, every decision, every action we take is an effort to expand our experience of being loved.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Once we understand that is the nature of the Akashic realm, remember, universal mind, will, and heart converging. When we understand that's the nature of it, we don't have to be afraid.
Yeah. There's nothing to fear.
Nothing to be afraid of.
Nothing to be afraid of. I wanted to ask you, in your book about sacred wounds, you referred to them as points of power and a pathway to this place of peace, and as a platform for transcendence and transformation. Yeah. What exactly are these wounds, and why are they so powerful?
Okay. So, human beings, well, I'll tell you, the reason the whole exploration really, came and got me, basically. The idea is, I noticed, certainly I've had wounds. All my friends had wounds. I look out into the world. Everyone I know is wounded. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's this about? Then I love history, and I noticed that throughout history, people have been wounding each other and themselves since we stood up on 2 feet. And I thought there has to be Like, what's the point of, like, what's up
Right.
with that?
Seriously. Yeah.
Right? Like, really? Okay. So, so it turns out that we all have the part of the human experience is, a wound, an injury that we sustain, can be emotional, physical, right? Mental, an injury that we sustain that really directs us in life. And what happens traditionally is we, as human beings, have used the wound, right, our
Yeah.
woundedness, as evidence of our unworthiness.
Right.
Evidence that, well,
Excuse me.
in the olden days, we used to say if someone was wounded that they were a sinner.
Mm.
Now, if someone's wounded, we say they're unenlightened. It's
Yeah.
the same mean game, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, wait a second. What's this really, right? What's this really about? And don't you know that the wound, through our wounding experiences, the wound, we can never change. We cannot change what's happened. There's, and anyone who says they can erase what happened is really like mentally unbalanced. That is really crazy. No one can change the past.
Got it.
Okay, so save your money on that one.
Okay.
But what we can transform is our relationship with the wound, so that we stop using our wounds as weapons against ourselves.
Yeah.
See, and we use them for their spiritual purpose. Every wound is a portal through which we can encounter self-love and the divine reality.
Yeah.
Now, one of our purposes here on earth is to love ourselves as we are loved by the divine.
Yeah.
Okay? Nice idea. Very nice idea. Very hard to do. What does it really mean, right?
Right.
Oh, I love myself. No. I mean, maybe that's what it means for some people. For me, that didn't get me very far.
Okay.
And it didn't. In the records, what I learned was that what it really has to do with is getting on my own side. See, unconditional self-love is the highest spiritual practice. Getting on my own side in those moments where, oh, I've said something stupid, or I made a mistake, or I'm unsure and I wish I were more confident, all of it, where I get with myself and I say, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay, so we begin to consciously align with who we are as human beings.
Yeah.
Right? Reducing the pressure of these expectations of high performance, false perfection. Right? Really relinquish that and to learn how to love ourselves as is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful. This being the Global Flow Summit, and the reason I asked you obviously to come on, because I think you're awesome, but is because I believe that the Akashic Records can help us get more flow in our life. What does flow mean to you, and how do you think the records can help you get there, I guess, is the question.
That's a great question. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Here's how I understand flow. I have this awareness that life is moving through me. Life is finding its way through me, right?
Yeah.
And my job is not to get ahead of life and tell it what to do, but to get in the middle of life and let it carry me like a river. Okay? Now, this requires trust, right? Trust in the goodness of life. Because I believe that life is dicey, suspect. There will be no going with the flow.
Right.
Going with the flow for me also does not mean, getting in the back seat and just and not looking out the window. I mean, there's participation involved.
Yeah.
Right? So going with the flow means that that I look to see what natural gifts, talents, and abilities I was born with and do my level best to develop those.
Mm.
To engage in the world the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay, this is all flow. Now, the beauty of the records, in my experience in the records, the certainty of the essential goodness of all human beings has really empowered, really amplified my awareness that life is good, that life is trustworthy.
Yeah.
If I am following my own flow, I'll be fine. But if I'm going down the river of my, floating down my own river, and I decide I don't like this, yours looks better, and I try to do your flow, I'm going to end up in big trouble.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you see? It's like trying to, I once was driving in traffic. I had a hard time learning how to drive in traffic for a million reasons. But anyway, so I finally, and someone said to me, if you can think of it as the divine flow, you'll be fine. And I got that. So I get on the on-ramp, and I find my spot. There is a spot for me in traffic. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I find my way into my spot, and my job is to go with the flow.
Right.
If I stop, somebody's going to rear end me. If I go too fast, I'll crash into somebody else. If I start looking into the other lanes, I don't know, maybe that lane looks, that lane always looks better. That's the faster lane, all that.
Right.
If I start playing with that, then I will cause unnecessary complications. The idea is to find the life force as it's moving through me. And working in the records, the consciousness of this Akashic field is so crystal clear in its infinite kindness and respect. And it's, like you used the word earlier, validating. What it says is, yes. The records, that's basically the consciousness of the record is, yes, that is why you're here. Yes, you can do that. So that the record supports us in letting, first of all, because there's no condemnation, right? So it's completely safe to let ourselves know the truth.
Right.
Our truth. Because it is what propels us in our own flow is our awareness of our own truth.
Right.
So that's how and the record recognizes that each one of us is here to make our unique contribution. Right? It's a very interesting thing. I mean, in some way, it's not like we're special. What we are is we're unique. We are shoulder to shoulder, and we're all here with a unique gift. And the record says, yes, come on, you can do this.
Yeah.
And that like facilitates the flow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love all that. How would somebody, for instance, know, or have you seen signs that they're not in flow or that they're kind of off that soul's path or journey? How might they know that? And then how?
First things first. Let's get something straight here.
Please.
You cannot get off your path.
Good. Good to know.
It's an energetic impossibility. So if you think, and then there was that decade I was off my path. No, you weren't. That's what your path looked like then.
I love that.
So first of all, we want to open our idea of path. Okay? It's not a tightrope. It's a path.
Okay. I love it. Yeah.
Okay? So
yes.
Make some room here. Okay, that's the first thing. And I don't care what you do. You cannot get off your path.
Right.
You cannot. Okay? You would not. There is no, every choice you make is a choice to move you along in your experience of being loved and loving. Okay? That's the path. Right, basically. Okay, now what was the question?
How might somebody know? Well, it's sort of maybe
Here's
Slightly redundant.
what we can know. Here's what we can know. Let me tell you
Okay.
something. It's true, many years ago, I had a job in title insurance. Okay, do you know anything about title insurance?
I actually
Anyway,
used to work in insurance myself as an
stop.
accountant.
Okay,
Yeah,
you get this.
I get
Yeah,
it.
okay. Okay, so I was in title insurance. It's a great industry.
Mm,
Very interesting.
mm,
I was miserable.
yeah.
I had what you call a good job, and every day at lunch, I would go and eat like large quantities of cheap Chinese food to sedate myself
Mm,
so I could go back to my office. I was miserable. Our misery is a sign,
yes.
not effort. Like now, I mean, I do work that I love, but I have to actually, like, I'm working on a book right now. I actually have to sit down and write it.
Yeah.
It's like I noticed that, like, oh, I get this. So it doesn't mean no effort,
Mm, yes.
okay? And also, along the way, there've been many times I've noticed, like, I hit a crossroads, right? It's
Mm,
like, well, if I'm going to keep going, I have to learn more, right?
yeah.
I have to learn more about writing. I have to learn more about how to express myself more clearly, right? Because it's really what I want to do. I want clear communication to the best of my ability. What that has meant is a lot of learning.
Mm, yeah.
Okay, and practice. So I think, I mean, one of the things that I've seen with the people who come to me, the people I work with, is there's some kind of mythology that if you're on your spiritual path, you're just going to be in the lazy river. No,
No?
no,
No, I'm just kidding.
no. You have to use God gave you a good mind. Use it.
Yes, yes,
Let's go. We got to get up early and whatever.
yes.
You know,
There's
The
definitely.
crops are not going to harvest themselves. The
Mm,
seeds are not going to plant themselves.
mm,
You see, our soul's purposes are not going to emerge by meditating and staring at a candle.
amen. No, I freaking love.
I
Right?
speak from experience. I have tried, and what I noticed, I have visualized book covers,
Yeah.
and you know what I noticed? I actually have to write them.
You still have to go and get the designer, get the,
I
like.
just do everything like, I get it. Okay, all right. So this is what I know at this point.
Oh my gosh. One just little tiny question on that.
Yes.
And I think I see it happening. And it's kind of with this lazy river thing. People are like, oh, sure, it'll be all easy. What do you see as when they meet resistance or it doesn't feel easto but it might still be the right path or the right thing to do? I'm trying to formulate the question around this, but what I see is some people are like, oh, I have resistance, that means I'm not supposed to do it.
No, that just means you're scared.
Right.
Don't get too excited. Expect resistance.
Yes.
It's just an expression of fear.
Yeah.
And it's also an indication that it's time to up your skill level.
Right. Nice. I like that. Love it. Okay. I am like, I could talk to you all day, but I'm very respectful of your time. It's so good, right? It's so good.
I know our time is like.
I just want to be very, very like respectful. I think we've gone a few minutes over, but can you tell us a little bit more about your Linda Howe Center for Akashic Studies and where we can find out a bit more about your work? How would somebody come and work with you if they were like, what is this stuff? I need to know more.
Okay, great. I would love to come and see me. All right.
I think I will.
Here's how this goes. I have a website, right?
Yeah.
LindaHowe.com. Go to my website.
I'll have it down here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And there are, what do you call these? Right now, I'm doing a lot of travel, teaching and traveling. And so I'm doing that. But the classes, I'm doing an online series actually in April I'm doing a series on manifesting, and it's interactive video live online. Fun, fun, fun.
Oh my
Okay, you
gosh,
find out
yes.
about it, right. So it's 4 weeks. It's really great fun. It's going to be wonderful. And that's, manifesting your destiny. That'll be really great. And then in July, the last weekend in July, for 3 days here in Chicago, I will be teaching a class on the inner and outer aspects of healing.
Mm,
Okay, and that'll be an in-person class here in Chicago. That's
beautiful.
because that's what I'm teaching right now.
Beautiful.
That's what's available. Right. So if you want to, and you know what, and I have, my books, I've got 3 books. They're all good. Get them. But they are. But I have these online courses that you can take. But I'll tell you, just so you know the way it's set up, because it's really important to me that students get the support they deserve. Very important. So I have a student advisor. So if someone registers for an online class, there's a student advisor who will work with them, because there's homework, right? I'm down with homework. Love homework. Anyway, I do. I love homework. Anyway, but what we do is we connect you with a partner so you can swap readings and do homework
that's nice.
together.
Yeah.
So that over the course of a 4-week class, you will have 4 different partners. And what we do is we get them in your time zone.
Nice.
Okay.
I like that.
So there are 5 core courses, and you can take them, but it brings you into the community.
So cool.
And that's how we do it right now.
I love it. I remember before I went to my first class, I'd never opened my own records. I'd never even had a reading done. And I was too nervous. I'd read all the books, but I was too nervous to actually try it. So I waited till I got to the class because I didn't know what was going to happen. And then I got there and I opened them and I'm like, so there was nothing to be scared of, right? So, but I did wait until I got to the class to do it. So, yeah, it's been.
No, because but here's the thing: we want to understand that this is new.
Yes.
That ordinary people like us having the right to engage in this dimension. This is new, and so there is uncertainty, and there is this sense of like, I don't know, is it okay? What's going to happen? And so we want to cut ourselves a break on that. That is appropriate. We are coming out of centuries of fear of spiritual awareness. Okay?
Yeah.
And like we're the people like you and I and our friends. I mean, we are the ones who are in the middle of this. We've got a lot of the old ideas in us, and we have a lot of the new ones, and we are the ones who are finding our way into the new way of living.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful journey, and it never ends, which I love that you kind of mentioned at the beginning, right?
Listen, I woke up. I have to tell you something. I woke up. I am 62 years old. How did that happen?
Wow.
And you know what? Because I'm not done. I'm like, I have so much to do.
Right.
So I think back to that when I very first opened the records, and one of the very first ideas that came to my attention was the truth that the Akashic Record is an infinite spiritual resource. And it's a spiritual resource for personal transformation. And I want you to know that however many years later, I want you to know that I'm just learning that's true. That's absolutely true. So
I love it. And I'm such a newbie, but I love it.
That's all right. It's good.
You're right. I'm just so fascinated and curious with this. It's like almost like an insatiable desire to learn all this stuff. Like I read it and consume it at just a vast rate. It's like, and when I was in my 20s, I wasn't interested in anything. I was that kind of dead inside too. And, working insurance, maybe there's a common theme there, but this stuff has just lit me up, and I'm just so incredibly grateful. It's so grateful.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
It takes courage to step away from a career in insurance and to jump off like you've done. It takes courage. And what prepares you for that is this awareness that what you want and what you need and what you crave, you have to be really convinced that it's not in the insurance industry.
Yeah.
Do you see? Otherwise, because it's a big leap. And so you want to know, every minute you were in that traditional occupation was required so that you could really jump off into this new dimension of consciousness. Okay, and you have to be convinced.
Yeah.
If you have any lurking notion that what you want is back there, you'll go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I say acknowledge yourself, because it didn't take you until you were 60. You did it in your 20s. You became convinced. It was really awful. There was no doubt in your mind. And now you get to follow your own flow.
I'm so grateful. And I sometimes say if it had just been a little bit more or a little bit less painful, I probably would still be doing it, right? Because the money was great, right? Like secure and la. And so I'm like, just as well, it was really terrible, and I was eating a lot of food as well.
Everything but happy.
Right.
What did I say? Everything but happy.
Right. It was everything but happy. I love it. Just before you go, I want to, part of saying thank you, Linda's been so kind. She's offering everybody a special free gift with this series. You go to lindahowe.com/global-flow/2017. The link will be just below here as well. And you can get some free, the first few chapters of our book, like an introduction to one and a chapter from the other. So if you're like, okay, I need to start reading this right now, you can literally do that. And then go get the books, and they're in all bookstores and Amazon. They're all over the place. And you'll just absolutely love them. So thank you so much. I massively appreciate this. And thank you for bringing this into the world and for helping us all, have more confidence and trust in ourselves and in the universe. And yeah, I'm just so grateful. And I'm going to watch this again and be like, oh, I've taken so many notes as well. It was so good. It was so good.
Good. Well, if you were here in person, I'd give you a hug, but I just thank you so much. It's wonderful to be in a conversation with someone who can hear me. And I thank you for that.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on one of your courses very soon.
Good.
I'll say hi.
All right. I'll see you at the perfect time.
Perfect. Thank you so much again. Okay. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.